In the staff report, I know it's not in the slides, but in the staff report at the bottom of page 5, there is a request from staff to the directors to consider the approval of a longer-term closure of the area under California Vehicle Code 21101 and Division 2, Section 206 of the Transportation Code for a long-term thing. What would that process look like?
Yes, thanks for asking. So I do owe the board an update on that. That was something that was deliberated, and I think you're referring to from last time around. So in discussions with prior Chair Eakin, the plan is for staff to develop a memo to transmit with the board on more details about that, and that memo would outline some of the technical operational challenges with a street closure and some considerations. It would not be a full study. That would very much be something we would need to fund and really obviously have a robust public engagement process. So we would kind of pencil out, and I would budget what that could look like to have such a more robust engagement process and analysis, and some of the operational challenges, like what it would mean to reroute Muni, what it would mean to serve loading and business activity if the street is closed, what are some iterations of maybe not a full closure, but some different design alternatives. So that's what would be outlined in a memo forthcoming to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Chen.
I have a question about the recurrence of this item. I remember it from last year. And so I'm wondering what, after today, whatever the process is, will it come, like, if it's approved, does it come back again in a year? Or what will make it come back to the board for another approval?
Right, it's a one-year permit. So after that, if the community wants to seek another permit, they do have to come back. I know I may have to ask council, there is like something in addition to that I think if closures come back year after year, there's even like another layer of consideration, because it starts to become more permanent, and that we are still new enough of a program. We haven't quite crossed that threshold yet, but yes, it's a one-year permit, not before that time, for at least the Friday, Saturday, or whatever configuration if approved.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And is there, council, is there room for this to be, perhaps when it comes back in a year, not for this particular moment, but just something to consider in the future? Is there a pathway for the applicant to consider a longer term period, so it's not annual, but perhaps 2 years, or just to, I guess, to get to your point, Director Henderson, of reducing the frequency of having to go through this process if the applicant is in compliance and is a good actor, right?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Kahina. Deputy City Attorney Susan Cleveland Knowles. I think this goes back to Director Hemminger's earlier question. We could certainly consider amending local law, the Transportation Code, to change the threshold of the amount of time that people can seek, and to have, you would authorize a delegation to staff for certain types of permits. I think starting with kind of the whole shared spaces program and the newness of it all, that the city, was kind of delegating smaller increments of time at the beginning, but that could certainly be revisited.
Thank you so much. So just some direction there to consider. This program is fairly new, and we're still trying to understand how it works post-pandemic, right? And so I do think that at this point, you're starting to draw some learnings from this program, and it would be great to just start considering the permanence of it and just understanding like what that would take. It sounds like there's appetite on this board to consider some policy like that. So you have some the green light right now to consider that. If there is no more discussion on this item, colleagues, I will ask if there is a motion to approve and a second.
I'll move the item.
Okay, is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Secretary Silva, please call the roll.
On the motion to approve, Director Chen.
Aye.
Chen, aye. Director Hemminger.
Aye.
Hemminger, aye. Director Henderson.
Aye.
Henderson, aye. Director Hinsey.
Aye.
Hinsey, aye. Director Tarlov.
Aye.
Tarlo, aye. Vice Chair Kahina?
Aye.
Kahina, aye. Thank you. That item is approved.